What's up, y'all? Thanks for coming back and checking out my channel. It's Just Ask Carlos, and I'm Carlos. Today's video is very important to me because this is about me and my wedding. Tomorrow I'm getting married. That's right. What is one important thing that you need on a wedding day? Especially what would be important to me? Music, entertainment. DJ. Well, I'm actually not hiring a DJ, and I wanted to make this video not for any kind of clout, but more along the lines to help people, whether you're a DJ and you're getting married and you want to know, can you DJ your own wedding? Or people out there that just want to skip the DJ altogether and do what I'm doing. Well, I don't know how well that's going to work out if you don't have experience, but there are some very important things, and I'm going to share those with you, and then you can make an informed decision on whether or not you think you don't need a DJ for your special day. So anyway, what do we need in order to get this accomplished? First thing we're going to need is a way to play music. Well, luckily for me, I have my iPad, which is basically my ceremony setup. Not 100% of my ceremony setup, but this is basically the core of where my music rests. It has a tethered connection to my phone, so I do have ways that I could get to the internet if I need Apple Music for a request. What do I need on that iPad that's important? Well, let's talk about what's important for your wedding day. You're going to need all of your ceremony music. Obviously, you're going to need your formal dance music. Last song, dance with your father, dance with your mother, your first dance, your entrance, all of that stuff. And then you're going to need some other stuff in there. Danceable music, stuff that's fun after dinner, some light music for cocktail hour. Pretty much all of the music for your entire day is going to have to be on that iPad, so make sure it has enough space. If you're looking at a 5-hour wedding, an hour of that filler is cocktail hour, so you're looking at maybe 20 or 30 songs. You're going to need music for dinner. There's another 20 or 30 songs. So you're probably okay with even the smallest capacity iPad, but let's just pretend that you have other things on there. In my case, this is a 256 gig model. There's plenty of space on there. I've got all my music for tomorrow. But the one thing that I didn't account for was, let's say somebody has a request. And this is something that you may encounter. If you don't have Apple Music, you're using an iPad, you don't have an internet connection, what do you do? Well, I can honestly tell you, you're pretty much stuck. You don't want to be that person that's taking your cell phone and scrambling for an adapter if you don't have it, trying to figure out a way to connect up to your speaker. But I mean, Bluetooth kind of works, but it's not ideal. So what should you do in this circumstance? Well, unfortunately, you're stuck, and this is one reason why you don't want to DJ your own wedding. Circumstance number 2. Let's say for some reason this iPad, somebody bumps the stand and it knocks over and it breaks. Or it starts raining and you're inside and your setup is outside and you don't realize it. You basically just threw all your equipment in the trash. That's another problem. And then lastly, who's going to hit play for you when you're walking down the aisle? Who's going to be the one playing your music when you are trying to focus on your grand entrance? Or is it going to look really awkward when your videographer, let's say, is trying to record your first dance, and the beginning of that is you walking over to your iPad, hitting play, and then walking to the dance floor as the music's starting? The point is that when you cut corners, when you try to save money, you're going to have very blatantly obvious shortcuts that you took, and they're not going to look good. In my circumstance, I am a DJ. I know pretty much the entire outline of my day because I wrote it. I've done countless timelines with couples before. I made sure that mine was fairly simple, so that way when my fiance and I get married, we're really only going to have to focus on a few things. The ceremony music, which we have a trusted friend, we chose for an extended cocktail hour just because we really just want to have the pictures and then go home and have an after party with, close friends. And it is a small wedding. It's actually less than 50 people. What do we do in this circumstance when we don't have a trusted friend to handle the music? That's the entire reason you hire a DJ. Just pushing play is not DJing. Just setting up a playlist and handing it over is not DJing. But I'm already going to have all of that set up. So let me show you. So on my iPad, which I am going to show you a close-up, so don't worry, I basically outline very specific things. I have a ceremony, number 1, cocktail hour, number 2, line dances, because every wedding there's line dances. Get over it if you don't like line dances. It's part of a wedding. And then, of course, we're going to have some reception hits, and then we're going to have some slow songs. If you do want to get pictures of grandparents, parents, or if you just want to get the whole dance floor full of people to dance, slow songs, put a couple in there. Some oldies, some new ones, some country, some R&B. Good mix. That way you kind of figure out what you want to play. The reception hits, I know you're going to think it's corny, but think about every wedding you've ever been to. There's probably a list of songs that every wedding has, but they're still fun and they're wedding songs. So put them in there. Aside from the reception hits, I put in there music that I enjoy. Some 90s hip hop, some 80s pop, some more current stuff, and of course you've got newer country because that's what my fiance likes. But this is all we need. So as long as you put all of the work in ahead of time, you could probably get somebody who's fairly competent with an iPad or their cell phone, and they can do this. Maybe they won't be so good at fading music. That's something that's going to show your day of. All of this stuff was pre-thought out, and it's because I'm a DJ. Cocktail hour, set it and forget it. Maybe yours is going to need dinner music after cocktail hour. But I am telling you right now, this, if I were to hand this over to a client and say,
you know what? You don't actually need me. Here's your wedding.
It's not going to work. So the next thing you're going to need for your wedding is a speaker. That's right. This backpack, but this backpack houses a speaker. It's battery powered, rechargeable, and it has really good sound. It projects so everybody can hear. So you may want to look into something that is easy, quick setup, and it's going to store all of your stuff. So what do I have here? I got a handheld microphone for speeches. I've got the speaker with the cord to recharge the battery if needed. And this has all my inputs, and it even has a 1/4-inch output because videographers need an output so they can capture vowels, speeches, all that stuff. Okay, so I have all of my music, and I have how I'm going to play it. Now I need a way to connect the two. Obviously, you could do Bluetooth. I highly recommend against it. So what you want to do is get yourself some kind of an audio cable. This is going to connect my iPad to my speaker. I need a microphone. Now this is probably not something that a DIYer is going to do, but a DJ, you're probably going to have a microphone, receiver, and transmitter. The transmitter being the lapel mic or the handheld, and the receiver that's going to receive all the sound from that microphone. How is that going to get power if I'm out in the field? This regular non-grounded AC adapter can plug into any battery generator, so you don't need a gas generator. So I'm actually going to use a battery pack. I'm going to plug it into the battery pack, and when I'm ready, flip the switch, turns on the power, or I can just leave the power running. And then I've got the lapel mic in here, which I'm going to run down my shirt into my pocket, and then that's going to pick up all of our vowels. Or your other option is you can always mic up the officiant. So if they have a book, you put the lapel mic right on the edge of their book, tuck away the battery pack into one of their sleeve pockets in the book or on their own pocket, and then that way when they're talking it captures them clearly, and then it'll still pick up you and your soon-to-be spouse. Lapel mic works great. Alright, we've got music, we got a way to play the music, we got a connection between the two, we've got the microphone. While this all looks great, it's sitting on the desk, so we're gonna need a speaker stand, and on that speaker stand we're gonna need a way to attach a shelf. I'm gonna include a picture right now of my setup, and it's very clean. It uses this fabric scrim, which just basically covers the legs of the speaker stand so it looks fancy. And this is why, again, I recommend, if you're not a DJ and you want to avoid paying for a DJ for your wedding, even if it's just for the ceremony, the amount of time it's going to take you to set it up, sound check it, make sure everything's working, make sure it's correct, make sure that you get the right levels for the microphone. If you have a videographer, like I said, making sure that they can get good sound. That takes a lot of time and effort that if you don't put it into it, the end result may be poor audio quality during the ceremony, poor audio quality for your videographer, and just an overall bad experience. So, tomorrow, I'm going to put some video in this video, so you'll be watching it now, to show you the wedding. I'm going to get all this packed back up. I'm going to show some video from the wedding tomorrow, and then I'm going to close this out and give you my final recommendation after my wedding. So while we have the time, click that like button, hit that subscribe if you haven't already, and share this video. You gonna do it? Alright, whatever. Catch y'all tomorrow. Alright y'all, it's wedding day. So right now I'm just going through my checklist, making sure I have everything. So first of all, timeline. Want to make sure that everything that's going to happen today is on a timeline. That way we can make sure it happens. Went through our music already, made sure everything played, everything's downloaded locally. I don't have to worry about Wi-Fi, but if I need it, I got it. Our speaker charged up, got my mic, got everything set up for the ceremony. Now we just got to go there. So let's go there. All right, here's the ceremony. And I'm going to have my speaker set up off to the side. So now I just got to set up the speaker, the mic, and get ready to hit play. Wish me luck. Check, check, 1, 2, check, 1, 2. Feels weird setting up a sound check for my own wedding. All right, so here we are. I guess first things first, the biggest thing that I want to share is that I don't have any pictures that were taken by me. It was our wedding. I guess that's the first takeaway. But is that important? Maybe, maybe not, because if you have professional photographers on staff or you have people taking pictures for your event, you kind of got that covered, and that's kind of their purpose. So maybe it's a good thing. So let's go into what did I learn. It's almost been a month since our wedding, and the reason that it's taken so long is because I've actually recorded a number of, intros, responses, follow-ups, that makes most sense, including one today, and I'm just not happy with it because I keep going back to the explaining myself. I got basically flamed on Facebook for even attempting it, not respecting my craft. I get it. I totally get it. Especially from other DJs who right now feel like I'm cheapening the point of a DJ, especially for a wedding. And it's not the case at all. If you want to, feel free to go down into the comments and flame me. But all I ask is that you can just finish watching this video and then maybe I'll have changed your mind. I guess the reason why everybody's here, do you forego getting a DJ and do it yourself? I'm going to say no. And it's not just no because
I'm a DJ, blah, blah, blah.
I don't know why I air quoted there. But it's true. I would never do this again. Aside from not getting any pictures of my own wedding, which I guess if I'm at a wedding and I'm looking at people with phones taking pictures, judging because you have a professional photographer, should I be taking pictures of my own wedding? Well, absolutely not, because professional photographers already returned some previews, and they're amazing, incredibly. Yeah, that's the word. They're amazing. They really are. They captured every moment that we could have asked for, and that's just the preview. So when we see the entire thing, I'm excited. Now, aside from taking pictures of myself, what else was missing? Let's go into the first part of DJing your own wedding. So if you're the groom or if you're the bride or whoever you are in the wedding party that's DJing the wedding, what's the likelihood you think you're going to go over to that iPad or iPhone or tablet, whatever it is that you have set up, you're going to press play, you're going to run up, and you're going to walk down the aisle, and then you're going to go back over and change the music? And let's say you're the last person walking down the aisle, bride, groom, whatever. Are you going to walk down the aisle and then head over to cut the music off? Are you going to create some kind of a mix of all of the music for the ceremony and then just hope it runs out exactly when you're planning on walking? Because I can tell you right now, every time I've been to a rehearsal, people don't walk the same speed that they do during the rehearsal. Especially if you're the ones getting married. You got the nerves, you got the emotions, so throw that out the window. You're not going to do it. So, ceremony, absolutely not. You're going to need somebody to run the ceremony no matter what. Thankfully, our close friend who did the ceremony did a fantastic job. The one thing that we ended up messing up was the mic for the officiant was muted. I caught it early on, turned it on before our vows, and people could still hear anyway. It was less than 50 people, so not a big deal. But here's why I'm bringing all this up, because these are all the shortcomings that you're going to have to deal with for your own wedding if you try to do this. Ceremony's over. What's the next step? You got to move this setup somewhere. Doesn't matter if you're getting married under a tent, everybody stays seated at their chairs, and you decide that you're going to have your ceremony and your reception all in one place. Someone's going to have to change that music, because even if you get first look photos after the ceremony, you're still going to have pictures. You're going to have pictures with close family, guests that you want in those pictures. Now you have the responsibility of making sure that the music for your cocktail hour is ready. We didn't do that because I had someone move the setup and they played the playlist that I did. Let's move into the playlists. All of the work that I put in ahead of time, pre-ceremony, ceremony, all the way through to the last dance. I spent hours putting this together, because even with 10 years of experience of doing this, there's no way you can plan on what your guests are going to dance to and enjoy. So when I went into my cocktail hour, that was fine. I got a lot of compliments on the jazz mixes that were in there, so it wasn't too much of a big deal to stress about, even though I stressed a little bit while we were getting pictures. But they had time to mingle and time to do the cocktail hour thing. Jumping ahead to the playlist, we had times where people wanted to change the music, wanted to play a song they wanted to hear. And this is something that I always discuss with other DJs about playing a premix. Hate to give up a secret, but a premix is a premix of music that has been recorded, whatever length of time, and then you can kind of kick back and let people enjoy the music. Sorry, DJs. I don't do that, and it's for good reason, because if you're in the middle of a premix and someone asks you to change it to something else, well, guess what? Your premix is now pointless. So without having that, we had music changes. Even our last dance changed. The song that I had picked out, it wasn't like the last dance is the most important dance of the entire event. It just goes to show you, even if you plan everything perfectly, your wedding day can change, and that's the point of a DJ. They're there to focus on what your guests are enjoying, making sure everybody's happy, having a good time. Even if not everybody is dancing, as long as the people out in the crowd are tapping their foot, nodding, singing along. Not everybody's there to dance. Some people are just there to be with you to celebrate. So the playlist, put a lot of effort into it. Unfortunately, the massive list of music that I put together, put it on shuffle. Somehow Black Eyed Peas smashed together, and now we had 3 back-to-back Black Eyed Peas songs. What can you do? Well, you could have hired a DJ. That's what you could have done. Again, this is your wedding day or your special event. Is that something you really want? Next, we'll move on to our MC. So our officiant, close friend of ours, did a fantastic job with the ceremony. Couldn't have asked for a better ceremony. Huge shout out to her. She did our announcement, basically us into the reception. Did a great job with that as well. Ton of energy. She got everybody kind of amped up. We came out, tons of clapping. But that's all we needed, because it was a smaller event. Could it have improved? Absolutely. When you have a DJ who's going to also MC your event, they not only are introducing you, they do announcements during cocktail hour, announcing cake. All of that stuff didn't happen because we didn't have an MC. We didn't have a DJ and we didn't have an MC. That's another experience you're going to miss out on. Next, we're going to move on to lessons learned. Well, for us, this wasn't a huge deal. Most likely it'll be a big deal to you, and it's definitely a big deal to DJs. It was time for our first dance as husband and wife, and he played the wrong song. If I were to do this as a DJ, as a professional, I would probably sell my gear and just quit. And I know other DJs, this is kind of the reason why you don't DJ your own wedding. For us, we got a great picture out of it. As soon as we realized it was the wrong song, we started laughing. Ultimately, he played the right song anyway, so we still had our first dance. But I don't think that that's the experience that you want. I don't think that's the experience that people plan on. It might be embarrassing. So, again, hire a professional. Hire a DJ. Not just any DJ, but someone who is experienced with weddings that knows what they're doing. This is the whole point of my video. Not to brag, not to just say, click on this, watch it, and I told you so. It's for me to share my experience with you, because if you're making this decision of not hiring probably the most important person for your day, you're going to have not only just these issues, but you may have an issue where the entire thing goes completely wrong. Let's say the person that you trust is bringing a speaker and it doesn't actually fill the area you need, or maybe the equipment fails. If I can give any advice after my own wedding, I would advise you hire a DJ. And it's not just because I'm a DJ, because I just literally did this. I literally just got married. I had my equipment, and effectively the only time that I tried to DJ, which would be trying to pick a song for a specific moment, there's a picture of me and my wife behind the iPad, and we're looking at it, and it wasn't something that we enjoyed. We would have spent the whole time behind the iPad, or running back and forth, or dead air because there's no music playing. And that's not what you want either. If you think a DJ is just there to provide music, play music, and then get paid for it, you're so wrong. And the reason is night and day from hiring somebody to just bring a speaker and play your playlist, as opposed to hiring a professional who takes into consideration what you enjoy, understands the music that you like, reads your crowd, and figures out what's making them get up and dance or entertaining them. And then at the end of the day, all you're thinking about is, I had such an amazing time. I had all of my friends and family who I wanted to celebrate with, and now I have all these memories and pictures of the great time that we had, all thanks to this person who set the soundtrack for our day. I guess now that you've watched this entire thing, you've heard all of the ups and downs, the pros and the cons. What do you think? Do you think that I screwed up? Do you think that I pulled it off? Sure, I pulled it off. But I put a lot of work into it. There was a lot of stress. And no matter how much time I put into the music, I still ended up with back-to-back from the same artist. I ended up with people changing music. I ended up with the wrong song for my first dance. And we even changed our last dance to another song that I completely forgot. So there's a lot to unpack there. And I hope that you took the time to watch this entire video. If you didn't, please go back and watch it from the beginning. I'm going to include some pictures, specifically right now. That's me and my happy wife. And I'm just going to caution you. If you think you can DJ your own event, especially your own wedding, don't do it. Just because you can doesn't mean you should. I think that was Jurassic Park. Anyway, thanks for watching. I'm Carlos. This is my channel, Just Ask Carlos. And I will definitely see y'all on the next one.